Here's some of what you've missed on the Butt Naked Truth.
Say that again.
I found this article in the Wall Street Journal.
Not Sun-Times or Tribune.
No, not Sun-Times or Tribune. Where this Navy, these Navy medic and doctors are getting prepared for combat, and said that they could get no better training but at Stroger Hospital.
And they practicing on these young and old people and
young people, brother.
And you came up with that information that is so prevalent, because when you go in there, Harold, you're thinking that you're dealing with a resident or a doctor at the hospital, and you're dealing with people who are being trained to go around the world at a moment's notice. That is unbelievable, brother. And our people still don't recognize that they're being used as guinea pigs. Brother. Because you don't know if, once you get in there, Harold, what if they said, well, let's try this procedure first, because in combat we might run across this, so let's try something new.
Well, you hear what the guy said? They had the EKG little circle things,
right?
That this boy had 15 holes in them, and they covered the blood, the holes with the thing they give you on the EKG.
Yeah, the tab.
The little tab. And so that had to be some practicing, some new practice.
That's what I'm saying.
In order for them to stop the bleeding,
that's what I'm saying.
It took them 2 hours to stop the bleeding, to even get them into the surgery by putting these EKG. Like you said, TC, this is just practicing on what's going to keep soldiers alive. And they said they can get no better training, but right here in Chicago.
And another thing, while you on that vein, Harold, you got 6 people running into the emergency room at one time in war. You in a mass shooting. You bringing them in on the helicopter, like we were talking about with MASH, right?
Right.
And so
right.
they just like cars. They just shuffling them.
But let me ask you this, TC.
Wow.
82 shot this week, 9 murdered.
82 shot.
How much training did they get? How much training did they get this week?
They got a lot of training
from the Negroes in Chicago. How come the mayor didn't tell us about this?
Yeah. Listen to me.
How come nobody came up and said, well, maybe that's why they letting you Negroes keep shooting and killing each other? They getting valuable training off of the ignorance of what you guys are doing.
But I want to ask you a question. How did you really find this?
I was looking for it.
And God showed it.
It says,
ain't that something, brother?
The Navy medics are on the battlefield around the world.
Say it again.
The Navy medics are on the battlefield around the world. And for the first time in history, they renewed the contract at Stroger Hospital.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
and they say the Navy is now expanding the program this year.
Hold up, stop. A program?
They're expanding the program. And it says, since Chicago has been plagued over the recent years by violent crime, the hospital's trauma unit sees more than a fair share of gunshot wounds, creating an environment just like the battlefield in the Middle East. Wow. So Dr. Farhan Bakari, who chairs the trauma unit at the hospital, told the Wall Street Journal,
yes,
the story was published in May, he told the Wall Street Journal that Navy corpsmen started this program in Stroger in 2014, but this spring, in 2018, the Department of Defense plans to expand the program to make a rotation at the hospital a part of the naval training.
Wow.
Check that out. A part of the naval training. And so he goes on to say, I mean, they've been here 4 years.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know it.
Right.
Now, how come the county commissioners didn't tell us this was going on?
It's a well-kept secret. Doctors practicing, the police practicing, everybody's practicing on us.
It says, but the training includes practice in real-world situations, meaning that the first time a corpsman gets any trauma experience is when they were deployed. So now they don't have to wait for the deployment to get the training. They're getting it right here at Stroger Hospital.
South and West Side.
And they've been here 4 years and just renewed the contract.
No, they just let us know when you found it.
It said this prevents them, Sam, from freezing up, because once they see this kind of stuff and they get training,
they used to.
Then they're no longer deployed, and they see it for the first time. They're seeing it over and over and over again at Stroger Hospital. Wall Street Journal.
Wow.
Unreal, bro.
There's too much.
Stay informed, because half the truth is a whole lie. truthradio.net.